We had a historical meeting today with the managing team and the owner of Boat Harbor Hotel and Marina. And I hear life is a cycle. I heard that first from Jamaicans. Jamaicans always use that term, life is a cycle. Bob Marley, one of the greatest black performers of the Caribbean, barring none, internationally known, would speak about that 30 years ago. And I've been in the business of taxi, and I am the longest serving taxi driver in all of Abaco. I started as a boat captain, taking people from Grand Turtle Key to Little Harbor every week. I took hundreds of people on the waters, so much that they like it so much, they became second homeowners. That's the Kai Mills that they don't know about. They think I'm just a taxi driver. But I came from the boats because every time I tried to go on my boats, I was making $5,000 a week as a boat captain. But that jealousy that sets in causes you to give up that job when you go and you see water in your gas. When you go to start up, no spark plug, the spark plug wires are cut. There's no props, they take your props. All that to stop you from making a living. This is Abaco. I could give you a story. And if I tell my story again, it would be a bestseller. But back to life as a circle. Joe Louis, a long-serving congressman in America. I started to watch him later on before he died in life, and he said, Kai Mills, it's Joe Louis talking to me way in the Bahamas by him speaking. He said, if you see something, Kai, say something. But when you see something and you say something and you're making trouble, Joe Louis say, Kai, make good trouble. So I try in my video to make good trouble. And because I did my video on Boat Harbor, I made good trouble. And I was able to sit at the table with Manny Alexio for after seeing him for 25 years. Today, Kai Mills made history as president of the All Abaco Taxi Association. And back to life as a circle again. It happened 30, 40 years ago, the same thing that's happening in Great Abaco Beach Hotel, it happened in Treasure Key. Back then, Learner's Cornish was the favorite taxi driver in Marsh Harbor. Learner's Cornish is the one that showed me how to be a professional. I was in his taxi from I was 9 till I was 11. As my early childhood, my first form of fatherly love, he took me on his wings. And the same thing his son is doing now is the reason why Learner's Cornish stopped driving taxi. He said, everybody want to take all and forget the majority. That is what's happening on the taxi stand. Everybody is growing tusk and don't give a hell about the majority of the drivers. But back then, 30, 40 years ago, in Treasure Key, there was a guy by the name of George Roll. George Roll was the most famous one in Treasure Key. Learner's Cornish was the most famous one in Marsh Harbor. Learner's Cornish quit because what used to happen with them while I was there in their prison, they couldn't get any of that money, and it was coming in, but it was only for a select few, although everybody had a taxi plate. Back in Treasure Key, George Roll. I saw George came in twice, 2 funerals back to get back. And George Roll had a smile that captivated the guests. He had that smile and he still got it 40 years later. But back then, the owner of the Treasure Key Beach Hotel, there was only about five taxi drivers back then. George Roll has to be one of the smarter ones. And they would not let George Roll loose take passengers from the Treasure Key Airport to the Treasure Key Beach Resort. They couldn't use a bathroom. They couldn't go in the restaurant. They couldn't go at the bar to have a drink. This is 40 years. The cycle is coming back. And the cycle came from the same owner that owned Treasure Key Hotel. He also owned the Great Abaco Beach Hotel. So you see in the cycle. And George Roll did what they did in Nassau. George Roll, the five of them, blocked the entrance, the exit of the Treasure Key Beach Resort. I'm bringing you back 40 years. Nothing move, nothing go. And guess what? The next day, the owner wanted to buy them vehicles. That this didn't happen. I assured Manny Alexio that we don't want to do what they did in Nassau when Atlantis refused the taxi drivers. They abruptly got together and blocked the entrance exit. Nobody in the good management census want bad publicity. And I assure Manny Alexio that we will meet with our membership, and if the membership say to block the Great Abaco Beach Hotel for days to weeks, whatever, during a tournament, and if the membership say, in order to gain something, you got to give up something. We have already given up our rights that allowing for 2 years that we cannot use a bathroom, we cannot use the bar, we cannot use the restaurant to get something to eat. We are on the street. And Manny Alexio said in his talking that he's going to move us further away from the guests. What he called closest to the guests, but we call it further away. And when is this going to happen? In 6 months, we'll have a place, while there's a place ready available today. 6 months, the season will be officially over. So this week, we will call a meeting with the membership, and the membership would have an input, because I am just the president. But if the membership said, we don't need the government of the Bahamas to do a strike, we don't need their permission. If membership said, we will strike, we'll block up the place, so be it. Then we'll come at the table. But we are allowing the leadership of Boat Harbor to allow us a spot to take and pick up our guests rather than them hand feeding us. We don't need nobody to choke people down our throat and tell us when and how to come. We are entrepreneurs, private entity, private business people. We don't need to be hand fed. 40 years we have been doing this job before Manny Alexio was the owner of Great Abaco Beach Hotel. But respectfully, he met with us, and we asked for his concern. But one thing that stabbed me in the chest like a vampire, that officially killed me, but I will not say on this video, but the members there didn't even catch on that. Manny Alexio asks Green Slade, who is in charge of security, and the question that Manny Alexio asks Green Slade as the owner hit me like a ton of brick. It stabbed me in the heart like a vampire. And if I were to say what Manny Alexio as the owner asks his security, if it's okay for the drivers to do such, that's a video for another day, because that is powerful. That one It's the straw that will break the camel back and let the Bahamians know what we experience in Abaco at the Great Abaco Beach Hotel 2 years in. And it's going to take them another 6 months to find us a place. So it'll be officially 3 years we're out in the rain. Membership will decide a way forward. But I thank Manny for having a meeting with Kai Mills and the Abaco Taxi Association. But we're not happy with the results because Kai cares.